Уже начинаем или в 10 минут? Friends, we are starting.
Okay, great.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our live conversation on ALLATRA TV Africa. Today we have Simon Marot Toulong as our guest. Simon is a peace advocate and international student of energy economics and governance in Uganda. Hi Simon, thanks for joining us.
Hello, Olga. Thank you so much for welcoming me to a live show. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it is our pleasure too. And the topic of our discussion today is Creative Society of Borderless Peace. And our guest today will share his experience on this. And we'll discuss Creative Society and the 8 foundations of the Creative Society that can be used to build such a world. And my name is Olga, and today Kanu from Nigeria is co-hosting with me. And hello, Kanu. How are you?
I'm fine, Olga. Hello. And hello, Simon. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Creative Society. The goal of the Creative Society really is to see that we interview all people in order to ask them how they envision the Creative Society, which is a society where they cause universal human values, such as humanness, love, kindness, and mutual help, where these are given priority. And for sure, the Creative Society is not just a vision, it is a reality today. You know, in more than 180 countries around the world, you know, the awareness about this society is expanding, and more people are participating actively in spreading the Creative Society awareness. And we are happy you are with us here today, and we are hoping that you too will take the initiative to join the Creative Society project.
Yeah, and surely if you would like to be a guest of our next program, it is really easy. So please write to us to our email info@allatraunites.com. You can find it below this video. You can also write any of your ideas about the Creative Society. And if you would like to learn more about this amazing project, please visit the website of ALLATRA International Public Movement. The website is allatraunites.com.
Yeah, and also talking about joining us, we want to let you know that in our programs, this broadcast, we usually use what we call the the rules of 6 handshakes. You know, this rule we apply in meeting people, in usually spreading and expanding awareness of the Creative Society. Now, the rule of the 6 handshakes simply is a theory that all people are connected via, you know, not more than or lesser than 6 social connections. And usually during our broadcast, we put this rule to test. We always ask our guests to nominate someone that we could invite for our next, for our future broadcast. So today we are going to ask our guests that towards the end of this program to nominate someone that we will invite for our future program.
Yes, we'll do this in the end of our program. We'll check the rule of 6 handshakes. And now we would like to welcome again Simon, our dear guest. And please tell us a bit more about yourself.
Thank you so much once again for welcoming me to this show. I hope everyone watching that is getting me well and is able to actually hear me clearly. Just like I was introduced before, I'm called Simon Marot Toulong. I'm a South Sudanese from, so I've been in Uganda for the last 20 years. I left my country when I was just 8 years old. So we had to walk some miles looking for peace. So because there was a war in my country, by then it was called the southern part of Sudan. So it was Southern Sudan. And then, so I found refuge in Uganda. So I've been staying here in Uganda for like last 20 years, looking for peace and then trying to actually live. How do I establish my roots here in Uganda? So currently I'm a student, just like before, I'm a student of energy economics and governance at Makerere University Business School in Kampala here. And so in 2018, I was actually appointed by the African Union chairperson to be among the first advisory council to the youth envoy, who was also nominated on the 1st of November 2018. So for the last 2 years, I've been an advisor representing East Africa on the African Union Youth Advisory Council. And I've been doing like mentorship and also been doing coaching. So I've been doing a lot of coaching for young people, one-on-one coaching and then dialogue. So, but from 2015, when my country flung again back to another war, so we found ourselves doing peace building among South Sudanese, because the question we were asking ourselves is, how do we actually bring the South Sudanese who are here in Uganda together to actually form some bonds, like bonds among themselves, bonds like that are in good relationship, human relationship, that values human first, then the tribes or then the regions that where we come from. So we try to say, okay, how about when we start with the students, the South Sudanese students who are here in Uganda, what if we bring them together, we start dialogue, we start speaking, because we cannot kill ourselves. You cannot kill someone because it's from a different tribe, and you cannot kill so that you can become you can become known in maybe in South Sudan. So how about we use our like dialogue to get the country that we want? So that's just a little bit about me. And so I'm still here. I'm the team leader for the African Youth Action Network. It's a peace building and leadership organization that we founded in 2015 to bring peace among the people. And I'm very happy today with the title, Creative Society for Borderless Peace. Borderless peace, because peace is borderless. Peace is in the heart. Peace is what you feel. It's how you feel. So no one can actually tell you that this is the boundary of peace, because when you are joyful, there is no border for that. When you are happy, there is no border for that. I really, really like the topic of our discussion today. And I'm happy to actually join hands with you, join the community. Thank you.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting, Simon. We would want you to share with us, if you don't mind. You know, when you were introducing yourself, you said you are also a student, an international student. We would want you to share with us how you are able to cope, combining, you know, your role as a student with your appointment as the youth ambassador at the African Union, you know, and also you're running a peace advocacy group. How do you combine all this? How do you cope?
Well, it is tough. But what we have to do right now to actually see that what we want to see as human is fulfilled is to give paramount sacrifice. Sacrifice is the first thing that we have to give as human beings at this moment. So it's balancing our life, balancing like sacrificing our time that we can use for sleeping, sacrificing the time that we can actually use for maybe making our own work or maybe doing some other work, side work that can actually help us as students. Also sacrificing our time with our families, with our friends, with the people that we love is what we actually do to actually do what we do today. Because if you don't sacrifice, or if you don't compromise, or if you don't actually balance your life very well, then there's nothing that you can actually achieve. So here, you'll find that a call like this, due to the global lockdown, due to this pandemic right now, at least I'm able to settle down and have time with my family, have time with my my 2 kids and my lovely wife. So it is just because of this lockdown. But otherwise, from last year, you will find that in the whole month, I'll actually maybe be home like maybe 2 or 3 times. You'll find me I'm actually in a plane, maybe flying to Addis Ababa to attend an African Union meeting. And then on the plane, I'll be reading for my exam. which I might be having actually back here in Uganda. And then when I'm that side, I'm actually have to prepare for maybe a presentation, or should actually give an overview or a report on how peace in South Sudan is actually going on. So these are the things that we just do, but you have to sacrifice because you know that there is something bigger than than the hindrance that we have right now. There is something bigger than that. There is something that is pushing you, that is making you not to actually settle down, not to actually say, this is enough for me. Because if you just settle down, what will you get? People are dying every day. There is, you're always getting news every day. There is flood, there is a lot of hunger, there is a lot of disasters, climate is changing, and lives are not actually spared. So if you value human life and then you want to be in comfort, I think those two will not work together. So we try to make sure that, okay, how about if I sacrifice this 1 hour, 2 hours, and I go and attend maybe South Sudan peace talks. Like in 2018, I attended like about 3 peace talks for South Sudan in Addis Ababa, representing the refugees, the South Sudan refugees here in Uganda. So in those peace talks, you have to go there and be there physically. You cannot do it online. You cannot do it offline. You have to be there offline, I mean physically, in Addis Ababa. So it involves sacrifice, and it's the spirit that is in every human, that everyone want to see that at least the war, the bloodshed, and the killings on this earth should stop. And that's why we're doing all this. That's why I'm able to say, okay, let me study. Let me not waste 2 minutes or 2 hours or 2 years or 1 year giving excuses, saying that, okay, let me continue working with the AU, or maybe let me continue with advocacy. It is sacrifice. Because if we don't sacrifice, there is nothing that can actually happen.
Yeah, thank you so much. And this is really what motivates volunteers of ALLATRA International Public Movement, because it's like 100% volunteer, and it's also people who have chosen to dedicate some of their time, like for some purpose, like to also bring some higher ideas. And this truly like resonates with what we do, and like meeting people like you, we understand that it's not worthless, that there are really so many people who also are ready to bring change, and as you say, to sacrifice some time that would be anyway like spent on some social media or some useless stuff like watching TV or so. Yeah. And you mentioned already that like the situation in your native country driven you to what you do, and also what inspires you in your work? What motivates and inspires you to do more?
I wish I would actually share maybe pictures here if there was a way of sharing my screen, but I'm not going to share right now because I did not prepare those things. What inspires me so much is that, you see, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So when I was just 8 years old, so we were walking, we were taking like our walk, running away from bombs, running away from all bombardments, like the planes coming, gunship and gun downs. Like there was a lot of killings in my country, or where I came from. So during that time, we were fighting the Northern Sudan government as SPLA. So in the year 2000, I was just like a small boy walking around, like taking care of, rearing our cows with my. So as I was walking, there was 3 days before that. So there was an attack. And then in that attack, someone was killed, and the guy was not buried. And then 3 days later, I bumped into him, almost stayed on his body. That image is stuck in my brain. It is stuck in my brain and continued disturbing me as a kid. I could not know what to actually handle, how to handle it, how to actually heal from it, because that was like a serious how do I call it? Like it was a traumatic event for me. So as a kid, I look at this and said, I don't want those who are behind me, the next generation behind me, to actually also experience things like this. So when our country flung back to war, when we started actually fighting among ourselves in 2013, just 2 years after our independence. So I asked myself, how do we actually move away from this? How do we make sure that the next generation, the generation that is coming after us, do not stay in foreign land as refugees, do not maybe stay in land where they are far from their parents, far from their grandfather, granddads, grandmother, where they even forget about their folklore, how their local story, how about their local food, like depending on UN or depending on other persons to actually provide for them food. How do we make sure that we end this suffering? So that's what motivates me. I'm looking at my current generation as the solution to the current stalemate in my country. I'm looking at the current generation as the generation that has actually, they have to sacrifice, give their time, give their blood, give their all, whatever they are supposed to actually accumulate for themselves, to actually make sure that there is the next generation blossom. They actually flourish, they actually excel, they should shine and actually enjoy what human life is. They should actually enjoy what creativity is. They should actually be in peace and actually enjoy everything. There are a lot of things that we do not get while growing up in a refugee camp. So those are the things that motivates me. I'm like, the next generation should not suffer. This should be the last generation suffering.
Yes, that's very, very interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting. You know, that is what the creative society, like Olga was saying, that is what, that's our vision in the creative society, because nobody should suffer. Nobody should be a refugee. You know, the world is for all of us, and the resources of the world could go around. You know, so that is why here we feel we should ask people and spread the awareness for people to understand that, yes, that creative society is a reality. And talking to you, you have quite a very rich experience, you know, in, will I say, peace building. You've been in war zones from what you are telling us, and, you know, you must have, you know, spoken to diverse people, and, you know, you must have listened to so many people and must have heard, you know, about causes of grievances. So the question I want to ask you, Simon, is this. You know, in your own assessment from your rich background and experience, what do you think, you know, creates conditions for conflict? Why do we, you know, have this disagreement that often leads to war and, you know, leads to loss of peace and, you know, send so many people to their grave? What are the conditions that are responsible for this from your own observation and, you know, what you think?
Okay, thank you so much, Kanu, for that question. You see, let me give you like a small example. Right now, if you go and Google and maybe look at the number of refugees, people who are displaced in the world, or people who are on the move, who are displaced, there are about 70 million people who are on the move. These are people who are displaced. Either they are refugees, either they are stateless, either they are migrants, or like people who are maybe in detention centers. These are people who are all on the move, 70 million, global. But what is the world population? We are over 7 billion. So if we are 7 billion and 70 people are displaced, and we call them, we are comfortable calling them displaced persons. We are comfortable calling them immigrants. We are very comfortable calling them refugees. We are very comfortable calling them stateless. Stateless. For states that we created ourselves as human beings. States that we created ourselves. Boundaries that we created ourselves in our minds. You get it? So, if 70 million people are displaced, and we want to find a solution for them, if we say, okay, every one person who is displaced is going to be in a family where people are not displaced, will there be any person who is going to be displaced next year? Shall we actually have a statistic of people who are going to be displaced? No. Because 70 people is just so little. It's less compared to the 7 billion people. These are millions we are talking about, but we have billions who are in the, on this planet. So how do we make sure that there is, so if we come back to the cause of what? Of conflict. Conflicts are caused by valuing of people. When people are not valued, there is conflict. When resources are not shared very well, there is conflict. And then when there is ignorance, even interacting with people, when you don't interact with people very well and you don't use kind words to speak to people, there is conflict. Because that's what I've actually learned here in my own country. Like, because we have been used to the war, even if I just ask you, I say, Kanu, how are you today? Kanu, how are you today? The reply will also be very harsh because you have grown up in war, lived in war, and actually feel that everything is war, it's conflict, everything is fight. You get it? So to me, like three things. When there are a lot of resources that are not shared equal among people, which is caused by greed, it causes conflict because we will have to be scrambling, fighting over these few resources. The second thing is that when people are not kind to each other, something that is supposed to be solved easily, it ends up in conflict, it ends up in war, it ends up in fights. And then ignorance, like there's no much, there's a lot of information, like misinformation. Every country is like, we want to have fast this, fast that, fast this, fast that. Everyone wants to be fast. So who wants to be last and who is not going to be last? Those things are all, this miscommunication and a lot of propaganda going on right now is also giving us a lot of conflict. So that's where I will actually say, at least if people share the resources equally, there will be no conflict. Because if the resources are shared equally, then there will be nothing like refugees. There will be like, this country is producing more refugees, or this camp is having largest number of refugees. Why do we boast about this? Why do we feel proud as human beings? And we actually talk about this thing in conferences, about 70 million displaced. Are we not ashamed of ourselves? Can't we actually change that? It can be changed. So those are the things that actually are causing conflict. Because someone who is now feeling this, who is in pain, who is in all this conflict zone right now, feels that once they get chances or they are in power, they will have to come and revenge and then make others also feel the pain that they have gone through. That's where conflict actually is like people continue transitioning. They actually transfer it from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. Because every generation that comes, they want to pay back what has been done to them. That's what I could actually say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing this. And I agree with you so much that it's not that we do not have enough resources. Our planet is rich. And when people say that we don't have enough resources to feed all the people, it is a lie. It is really a lie, because when like the whole millions of people starve, like tons of food are thrown away in another part of the world. And this means that we have enough, we have plenty, not even enough. And so you've shared a lot, like some maybe experiences that cause conflict, but on the contrary, we would also like you to share. So how do you envision the world without conflict, without hostility or aggression? How do you envision the creative society, the peaceful and comfortable society? And how can we build it all together?
Thank you so much. You see, when you read when you look at the creative society, the 8 foundations, there is nothing which is missing there. From valuing human life, from human freedom, transformation, accountability, all these things here, all these things that are listed here, these are the things that we are looking for. Because if I value your life, I will not go into a nuclear plant and start planting and start planning to kill you, or start planning to actually make a weapon that can actually dismiss you. Those are the things that we need to actually implement. How do we make sure that we implement them? They should start with kids. Kids who are 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 year old, 5 year old. We should start with them right now. Because these people don't see any difference. They only see human as human. They don't see human as Nigerian. They don't see human as a South Sudanese. They don't see human as Africans. They don't see human as Europeans or Americans. No, they just play. They just know, this is my friend. He stays in that house. They're staying in a 2-bedroom house. They don't even think about the resources that they have, and whatever they have. If you see like kids' life, whatever you give a kid, they will always want to share with their friends. They will always want to share with their brother, with their sisters around. That is the life. That's what I actually see. That's what I envision. So for us to put this in the mind of people, we have to start with the kids who are 1 year old today, who are 5 year old today, because 20 years from now, they will use those values and actually use them in their own society. They will actually keep those values and actually teach others. They will actually keep those values and teach their own children. Because for us to have greed today, for us to think that resources are not enough today, it did not start in one day. It was like a year or maybe years or a century program that actually was planted in the minds of people. They will come and tell you, you know what, these people are now in power. They want to take every resources of our country. If we don't get rid of them, we shall not be ministers. We shall not be governors. We shall not be commissioners. We shall not be businessmen. You get that? So how about if we start sharing the benefits of actually being human first, the benefits of actually valuing people's life, the benefit of actually valuing freedom. I could just get, if it's not because of lockdown, I can just say, okay, let me come to Ukraine. Olga, are you there? Is there a space for me to sleep in? That should be the life. I should not go and actually be told there is a visa you are supposed to apply for 30 days before you travel. There should not be like something like, if you fail your visa, that they should not ask me, how much do you have in your account? Will you be able to come back to Uganda? Why do you do that? That's what I actually want. That's how I envision it.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you very much. You see, what I understood. You see, it's not like there is people don't talk about equitable sharing of resources. It's not like people don't talk about educating children, but it seems the consumer format of society that we're running, the center of it all is on, do I say, selfishness. And this selfishness we see in the form of competitiveness. Our education system is so competitive. Our state systems are very competitive. Everybody, like you said, wants to be fast. Nobody wants to be last. And this competitiveness denies us of collaboration. Yeah, but it's interesting to hear from you, and we would really want you to share it with us, your views, on what do you think, just apart from teaching children 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we have education systems already. How do you think this education system should, be organized, or how do we go about running them in such a way that every child, has access to, education? Because part of the human development program is that everybody must, should have, like you mentioned, ignorance is one of our problems. So if we have a medium through which we could spread this awareness you are talking about, which we, also volunteers in the creative society are also of the same mind, things will go, to me, things will go very, 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 very good. So what I would want to know from you, would want to share your opinion. How do you think we should organize our education system, our healthcare system, and if you might permit me to also add our social service system, so that everybody, can have, some access to it?
Thank you so much. Kanu, I think I told you before that I was in class in the morning because I was teaching. So in the class where I was teaching mathematics to my students. So I told them in the beginning that, you know what, don't look at it as a teacher, as someone who knows everything, and is coming to give you. And then for you, you'll be just receiving from them whatever they are giving you. Sorry, let me sort of something here.
It's okay. While we are waiting for Simon to settle, sort out whatever it is, this is a very interesting discussion, and I really am enjoying it. Olga, I don't know about you.
Yeah, it is interesting that you meet people and you see that the idea of creative society is not something new. It is already there. You just need to remind people. And yeah, Simon, we've been sharing some ideas how we like our broadcast, and happy that you are already back. So you may continue. Kanu was asking you about the education, healthcare, and in the creative society. Yeah.
Yes, so I was telling you that I was in class. So when I was in class, my students were looking at me like they want to pass the exam. They want to have good grades. They want to go to the next class. That was what was actually in their minds when I tried to read what was actually, when I tried asking them a few questions here and there. So what does that tell you? It tells you that our education system right now, as you have said it, that it is a system that has been set there, which is they value you according to the number of degrees you have. How many master's degree do you have as Kanu? Do you have a PhD? Are you a doctor? Are you having 2 PhDs? Like, that is how we are valued. It is not how much we're bringing to society. It is not how much we're actually learning from the society that is not like valued anymore. Because when you value what someone gets or the degree that they have, then you give them respect according to that degree that they have. That is a problem in itself, which needs to change, which needs to be, actually, I don't know how to say that. It needs to be revisited. So how do we change that? It starts from the family, from your own family. Because the social system, it starts from a family level. If we don't have this kind of discussions, this discussion we're having now on Creative TV, if we don't have it at our homes, on our dinner table, if we don't have it during our breakfast time on our breakfast table, and then there is a very serious element that we're actually missing, because our kids will go outside there and they will succumb to the judgment that the world is actually putting out on them. It will succumb to the fear pressure that they're actually getting. Someone will tell them, look, what, for you are from this poor family, you guys cannot even afford even like 2 or 3 meals a day. That's the problem. So how do we make sure that we change it from our discussion table? Self-awareness is key. If someone is not aware of themselves, if they are not aware of the skills or the powers that they have as humans first, then there is a problem. Whatever university you go to, you can be in Cambridge, you can go to Oxford, you can be in Harvard, you can go to all the best universities on this world. But when you don't know what capability you have as humans, what potential of the powers you have as a human being, there is a problem there. There is a big, big problem there that needs to change. How do we change the social system? How do we change the government, the way service is delivered in our communities, in our government, in our states, in our level of constituents or provinces? That change from the way we change our individuals' perceptions, how we change our individuals' feelings, how we change our individuals' reactions and actions. What you act today, like most of our societies today are reacting. It is after something has happened. That is when we say, oh, you know what, after COVID, then we now said we want to look for vaccine. After COVID, we now say we want to change our policies of traveling. We want to now close our borders. We want to do this. We are just a reactive society. What if we are actors? Because creators, they are very, I'm not very sure you're getting. You cannot be creative when you are reacting, because you are responding to an external call. But when you are responding to an internal call, you are acting, you are creative. So how do we change that? So when we change the way we look at things, and we change the way we feel, when we change the way someone maybe speaks to us, or the way we speak to people, or the way we actually process the information that is sent to us, that is given to us, that way we actually change the way we act in a society. Because if I move on the streets here in Kampala, our public transport means here we don't have trains. We have what they call buses, and then we have taxis. These are 14, a 14-seater passenger vehicle. So this 14-passenger vehicle, there's always a driver and then the conductor. So these guys, they can choose and say, you know what? Because now there's too much traffic, we are going to stop here. We're going to drop you guys here. When even if you have agreed that you want to be dropped, like maybe in like a 30 kilometers, after a 30-kilometer drive, they can choose maybe after 15 kilometers, they'll say, you know what, collect the money, and then for us, we're leaving here. How do people react? They start either fighting, or they refuse to give the money, or they actually end up destroying the properties. But what if they look at people and say, you know what, these are human beings, they have feelings like us. They have minds like us. What if we value them? What if we value their life? That will change the way they will act. That will change the way they look at what? They will look at us. So that's what I'm just thinking, that if we change the way we look at things, the information that is given to us, how people respond, how we respond to questions, how we respond to situations in our own life, and then we can change the way our society is actually changed. When we have a minister, an MP, they only come after 4 years when there is a new election. When there's an election coming in, that's when they come in. to come and campaign and then promise us sugar, they promise us everything. They give us little money. But after the elections, they are gone. What do they do in 4 years? So it means they are valuing the properties that they are giving us than our life. So if the politicians are valuing our life, they can be able to actually stay with us, be with us, and live with us in all the kind of situation we're living in. If it's flood, they will be with us in the flooding. If it is war, they will be in us in that war. So to me, it changes from individuals' perception, it changes from the individual's feeling, or the way they actually act, or the way we actually act in a society. If I go to a bus station and I find an old woman want to board a bus, and there's only one seat, am I able to give her that seat and say, you know what, she's older than me, I'm able to actually stand in this bus? Is that something that people can do? If I do it today, someone sees that I'm doing that, tomorrow they will also do it. And then the cycle continues. The cycle continues. Just like what you are doing right now. Creative Society is having this dialogue. It's not only me that is going to be affected. People from my cycle, after getting this, after seeing this, after watching this, they will also want to join you. They will also want to interact with you. Then they also want to learn about the 8 values. And when these values are sent out there, when they are sent out, human freedom should be free, human safety, we should have, like, valuing the life of human being. We should be accountable for all our actions. We should actually be having creativity in our thing. That is how things are going to be spread out. That is how the ripple effect will continue, small by small, one human being at a time. And this movement should actually not, it should not be focused on having many people at a time. It should just be like, if you are able to convert one person and say, you know what, live this way, value human life. If one person is able to value human life today, if I'm able to value human life today, tomorrow my kid is able to value human life, or my friend is able to value human life, that is how the values will actually be instilled in the people, in the mind of the people. Because what you do 3 times becomes part of you. It actually sticks in your brain, and it becomes part of your living.
Yes, like totally agree with you that the peace in the world really starts with small deeds of kindness, because it happens at all levels. When you are kind to a person like sitting next to you in a bus, or whether you are a prime minister, the kindness is the same, and it's really clear. It's really connected with the core idea of the foundations of the creative society that say that human life is above all. And when you value one's human life, it's really what you said, because what you're saying, it's clearly connected to the 8 foundations that it's the value of each human life. And dear viewers, if you agree, or disagree, I don't know, you can share your ideas in the comments to this video. And now we would like to talk about the 8 foundations of the creative society, and we'll ask our technical support to put them on screen. Да, 8 основ нам, пожалуйста, все сейчас. Yes, this is a website that you can visit. И 8 основ, пожалуйста. Yes, now we'll see the 8 foundations that we'll discuss, because what is the 8 foundations of the creative society? It is the background, because like to build a new house, you need to have a really good background to build them. And these 8 foundations, they appeared from the discussions with people from all over the world, from 180 countries. And these are really the things that every human being aspires to, that everyone wants to have in their life: the value of human life, the freedom of everyone. It is the human safety that should be ensured to everyone. The transparency and openness of information. The creative ideologies that should exclude any violence against people, the development of personality and free education and accessible education for all, and equality and justice for all people, and self-governing society. That means that we should not have power above people, because like a human being should be above all. And now, Simon, we would like you to choose the foundations that you would like to discuss.
Okay, thank you. One, how many foundations should I choose?
Once again, please.
How many foundations am I allowed to choose?
Like for now first, and we'll see how much time.
Okay.
Yeah, they're truly interconnected, and it's really hard to talk about one not mentioning other one, but we like kind of will be limited in time, so we can discuss all of them. And the one that resonates to you most of all?
Mine is the first one.
The first one, which is первую, пожалуйста, основу. We'll see the first foundation, which is human life. Human life is the highest value. Life of any human has to be protected as one's own. The goal of society is to ensure and guarantee the value of each human's life. There is not and never can be anything else more valuable than a human's life. If one human is valuable, then all people are valuable. So please share your ideas.
So you see, why I chose this is that when you value human life, a lot of things in this world will not go back like bad. We shall not have chaos in elections. We shall not have riots just over small things. We shall not have people having to actually manufacture expire like drugs that are not actually helping human beings. We will not have people actually looking at building guns, producing guns. You get it? Because like the first element of where life is lost nowadays is through the gun. Whether it is through maybe shooting, whether it's through conflict, revolts, maybe bomb blasts, or maybe like rebels, or like maybe terrorist group, they're all killing people. But when we value human life, is someone really going to put in himself like a bomb so that he can kill, he can actually end life? I think no. And when we value human life, is someone going to enter a laboratory to actually manufacture a medicine that is able to, what is capable of actually like killing everyone in this planet? Is it going to be possible? I think no. If we value human life, is someone going to actually produce food or actually sell food that is actually which is contaminated, or that is not actually like good for human consumption? I think no. So that's why I feel human life is the first thing. And from my own experiences, I've seen a lot of people killing. I've seen a lot of people actually being slaughtered. I've seen a lot of blood being shed. So when human life is not valued, you can see that hell is real. You can actually live hell now, not maybe or tomorrow, not the hell that we see in Bible or we hear about in Quran or something. No, you actually feel it. You feel that actually you are in hell because of the blood you are seeing. Because how can a human being slaughter another human being with a knife and say, because he's from a different tribe, I'm going to slaughter him? How will a human being say, because someone is from a different place, I'm going to castrate him? How will you say, because this lady is not my relative, is not related to me in one way, I'm going to rape her? We are going to line up as 7 soldiers, 10 soldiers, 100 soldiers, and rape her and show her that there is pain. What are you trying to prove? Like the blood that is flowing in you is not the same blood that is flowing in her. The blood that is flowing in you is not the same blood that was shedded by his or her mother when they were giving birth to her. It's the same blood. But because we don't value human life, that's why such things don't exist. So I really like this foundation. And I like the fact that it's the first. Because wherever someone is coming to actually read it, they will first get it. They will first get to know it. They will first get it and interact with it. It will first sing in their brain before they go to the other 7 foundations. because human life is above everything on this planet Earth. It's above everything, above everything. Whether you have a reputation to protect, whether you have a country to protect, whether you have a legacy to protect, that cannot be beyond human life. You cannot see a woman giving birth and you say, because my mandate does not allow me to actually go and be like a traditional birth attendant, or my mandate does not allow me to actually, or the clothes that I'm putting on do not allow me to go and touch blood. That is not right. So that's why this is like the first value to me, and I really like it. We should value human life, because when we value human life, we shall have justice. Everything else will actually be, we shall be open to each other. We shall be transparent to each other. We shall be giving information freely. We shall be speaking with a lot of kindness, because we know we are valuing human life. If we value human life, we know that, okay, someone somewhere, for them to actually get something on the table, for them to actually get some food, they need some education. So they will come in and we shall be able to give them free education. We shall be able to actually make them accessible to the technology. Because right now there's a lot of lockdown. How many kids are not actually accessing education because of a technology that is not equally distributed to everyone? But is it because the technology is not enough? Is it because there is no fiber, internet fiber? Is it because we cannot be connected everywhere? No. It's because of us humans not valuing each other, not valuing the life that we have in us. We actually respect the countries that are given, not knowing that these countries, when we are buried, we forget about them. Maybe when I die, when I come back to life, maybe I'll be someone from Sweden. I might be someone from Norway. I might be someone from America, Canada. I might be someone from Nigeria, from South Africa, someone from India. Why do we then not value our lives? Why do we wreak vote and actually kill? Because we want to have power. Because we want to remain in power. Why do we make sure that people are malnourished, people are not given food? Because we want to remain in power and actually look legitimate, or maybe look powerful than any other person. So human life to me speaks a lot, because I think maybe it's because I've seen a lot of suffering, I've seen a lot of people dying, I've seen a lot of people like orphan people who are growing without their mother, they are always shedding tears. Maybe that's why I value this, but this to me speaks a lot.
Wow, thank you, Simon. I don't think I wish I could just ask you to keep go on explaining. It's quite captivating, quite engaging, and though we are running out of time, but I think we can still listen to you. Like Olga was saying, if you look at the foundations, they are all interconnected, and if we ask you to look at another foundation, and which one resonates in you, so that maybe briefly you can just share your idea on it.
I think the second thing is free education to me, because when we value human life, we need to educate people about human life. We need to educate people why their life is actually important. So free education, it speaks to me the second time. And this education will be accessible to all.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Just this is connected with foundation development of personality. We just want to put it on screen, and you'll continue discussing. Это шестую, пожалуйста, развитие личности. Now we'll see the sixth foundation. It is the development of personality, and it says that every person in the creative society has the right to comprehensive development and personal fulfillment. Education should be free and equally accessible to all, creating conditions and expanding opportunities for a human to implement his or her creative abilities and talents. Yeah, so please welcome and continue.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes. So development of personality is very important, because when we don't mentor people, when we don't guide people, when we don't coach them, they will go astray. Because any simple thing like this, human beings have a lot of ego. And then when my ego is touched, I will feel good. I want to feel good because they are praising me. Simon is very wise, he's very good, he's very that, he's always giving us resources, he's always giving us this, he's the man of the people. All these are the things that are just lies. But what if we teach people in the right direction? We teach them about
Okay, sorry, we will wait for our guest to appear again. As usual, everything is interrupted at the most interesting moment. Yes, and we have such an inspiring guest today. And yeah, he has already discussed about the importance of education, and I totally agree with what he said before that students usually want grades, they don't want education. And I remember myself, I was the same when I was a student, and now, only now, when years have passed, I understand the true importance of education. And I know that, Kanu, you are a professor at university, and I think you have a lot more to tell us about the modern education.
Yeah, Olga, in my country, I am not a professor. I'm just a teacher in a college. But yes, you see, what I realize about the type of education we give to our children, the type of education we spread about, is that it's mainly just I don't know about your country, Olga, but in my country and most of the African countries, some of them that I know of, it's more of just memorization. What we call here garbage in, garbage out. A teacher is an encyclopedia. Students, all they care about is just learn, memorize those things, and then, it's all about, like Simon was saying a while ago, it's all about just, massaging the ego. You have come out first class, you have come out this, you have that, you become a doctor, you become a professor. It's all about, materialism. It doesn't really go to those education, those value systems that will help us to understand that, look, life is about respect for human values, right? Life is about humanity and all that. So until we begin to shift the vector of our education system to such that we become more of collaborative, more of encouraging human development, we may continue to have this problem that the consumer-oriented society has imposed on us. Yes, Simon is back. Simon, before we went off, you were saying something on personality, the personal development or personality development. Could you please continue where you broke off?
Okay, sorry, because I think it's because of my data, and the network here is actually misbehaving. Sorry for that inconvenience
We
situation.
understand, it's okay.
Okay, so I was saying, if we're able to mentor and coach the people that we want to see in our society through a very good education system, then we'll be able to change the way things are done in this planet. Because right now, the way things are going right now, if we continue with this kind of education system where you are taught you to value your degree, to value where the school you have gone to value the country you are studying in, then we're not going anywhere. Because we fail to realize that our human potential are greater than where we are living. That even our brains can actually attracts what is around us. Most people don't actually know that what is around them is attracted directly by what they are thinking about, what they are preaching, what they are reading, or what they are seeing on their compound. Because even when you are in social media, if today you have watched maybe riot maybe in a country, or you went to YouTube and said you want to see maybe presidential elections and all those stuff, YouTube brings those things closer to you. Like they will tell you, there is also a video in maybe in a riot in India. There's a riot in Bangladesh. There's a riot in Pakistan. There's a riot here. Maybe you'll have an interest in looking at it. Why do they bring that such thing? So when human beings are actually able to know that their minds speak directly to the kind of environment or the kind of situation they attract to themselves, then there will be a change. So how do we then develop personalities if education is not free? How do we then develop personalities if education is not actually accessible to all? If such platforms are only accessible to me and they're not accessible to my friends, if creative society platform is only accessible to me and my friends are not able to hear, they will not be able to develop. They will not be able to develop the skills that they can actually get. They will not be able to negotiate situations. They will not be able to know that, you know what? Resources are more than us, human beings. That these resources that we are seeing today is limited, they will still be what? we shall still leave them here when we die. So we need to educate ourselves, and we need to actually mentor. Generations like us, this kind of generation, should actually mentor one person at a time, and we educate them in a very clear way. That's to me, actually speaks to me, like development of personalities. How do we then develop personalities when we don't actually take up responsibilities as individuals, when we don't actually take responsibilities as societies, that we are here because others need to also grow. We are here because actually we need also to grow. So we need to be connected to each other. That's all.
Yes, thank you so much. And what we've been talking about, that all the foundations are really interconnected, and all really starts with the value of human life. And it's truly connected with the education too, because if you value each human's life, you will give everyone a really wonderful education, and not just a collection of facts, as we said, our education is today, but the wholesome education. And and the form of mentorship is also quite valuable if you can pass the knowledge from person to person. And yes, and as our idea, the idea of our broadcast is to pass on the initiative, to pass on the idea of the creative society from person to person. And now I will ask you, Simon, to nominate a guest with whom you would like, who would be interested in the idea of the creative society, but who would not be, and with whom maybe you also would like to participate in such a broadcast and discuss the idea of the creative society.
Thank you. So should I mention a name right now for the person that I'm nominating?
Yes, please, you can mention a name.
So there is a boy that actually inspired me so much, that is dealing with the kids here in Kampala in Uganda. He's a Ugandan nationality. Okay, we should not actually, because this is a creative society, we should not actually call ourselves based on the countries we come in. So we shall just say he's a wonderful human. I will just say he's a wonderful human because he values life. So he's a wonderful human, and I'm going to introduce you to him. He's called Constantine, Tenua Constantine. Tenua is so much. He's writing his own book. He's actually trying to mold and teach kids here in Kampala on what they should do, on why they actually have immense opportunities outside there that they should actually tap in as human beings. That should actually, even if they are street kids, they should not actually say, because your parents have not taken care of you, or maybe you are an orphan, that you should actually say people should be sympathetic and you start begging. No, he's teaching them to actually rise up and stand on their feet. So I'll be very happy to introduce you and have you on the Creative Society TV discussion.
That's very good. And, I like that. In the Creative Society, where we come from doesn't matter. In the Creative Society, we are one big family. That is our vision. In fact, that is our goal. So thank you, Simon, for this inspiring discussion we've had with you. In fact, it's very quite enriching, and we have learned so much. And we would want to also assure you that the person you've nominated to us, we are going to reach him as soon as possible, so that we invite him and also share his opinion, his feelings, his views, his experiences also on Creative Society. And like Olga mentioned to you, I just want to remind you, you too can also be part of that, interview, or let me say interaction, conversation with him, because we are reaching out. The way we can spread the Creative Society is like we said, we are using the rule of the CIS handshake. Somebody introduces you to us, you are introducing somebody else to us, and you could be part of us. You could be part of the creative initiative. And you too, dear viewers, let me also tell you that you too could also be part of the whole Creative Society initiative. All you need to do is you can write to us, via this email address, info@allatraunites.com. We'll get it, and then we can invite you. You can be part of the speakers, and we'll be very, very interested to host you in our program, in our live conversation.
Yes, you'll find all the links below this video, and please also welcome to visit our website, which is ALLATRAunites.com. And at this website you can find a lot of more information. Можно сайт показать сейчас, пожалуйста. Yes, on the right you have a red button, join us, and if you'd like to participate and receive any updates, please fill a short form, and you can choose any form to participate, anyone you like, or find more videos and connect to people all over the world.
And yes, if you actually like this broadcast, you could do us a favor, share it on the social network, share it on the social media using these two hashtags. Hashtag Allatra Creative Society and hashtag Allatraunites. Thank you for being with us, Olga.
Thanks everyone. Thanks Simon so much. You've shared so many inspiring ideas, and thanks Kanu, and thanks our viewers, and please be with us and welcome to our next broadcast on ALLATRA TV Africa. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.